but nature stripped. He's a force of nature today. Can he do it? Chautauqua, he's flying. Yeah!
But Kevin Tari hit the front deliberately.
But this is a blitz. It's a weak blitz.
Have a go, you mug.
Good afternoon, mugs. Good morning, good evening, wherever you're listening or watching us. We're back for another week, Lloydy.
Yep.
Doomben, baby.
That's
It's been, well, we've been in no man's land. We've been down at bloody the Gold Coast, been at Toowoomba. We made it out of there. You might notice that someone's missing today here, mugs. The bean is stuck in Toowoomba still. They wouldn't bloody let him out. But don't worry, we haven't fired him, and much to the grief, I guess, so you could say, of the Three Beans fan, he'll be back next week, hopefully with some big news to continue. But, mate, what do you reckon about the upcoming weekend?
Yeah, good weekend all around the country, really. Doomben's sort of the, I suppose, the third tier, maybe even fourth. I think it's the Kalgoorlie Cup as well over in the west. So, but yeah, look, tough card, but plenty of value around, I think. And, you know, even races where there is a favourite, it's a $4 or a $5 favourite. So I don't think there'll be too many $1.10 pops getting around.
No, not like your tip of the day.
Not like that.
That's right. That just builds the bank for Saturday. That's right. Well, look, there's an exciting race one, which we'll get into in a minute, mate. We'll recap, I guess, last week. But the 2-year-olds are up and about, which is big news. So we had the first 2-year-old race of the season last week with Minari Magic, one close to my heart, which got up and saluted. Good on you, Team Butterworth. But again, they're all starting to come up and about now, which is probably what you want as a 2-year-old owner. That you see where they're at now. Get some cash in the bank, Magic Millions if you're eligible is obviously the goal this time of year.
That's it. Yeah, that's a few good trialists getting around too as well. There's one during the week, 2-year-old Merrily it was called.
Yeah.
Not in on Saturday, but certainly it'll be one to watch in a couple of weeks.
$1.10, mate. You'd be happy with the ticket. I think it's a Stern filly, is that correct?
I think so.
Yeah. So I think he's probably the side to watch. Second season crops, the ones that they reckon are the good ones. So listen to us, mate, breeding experts, hey?
That's right.
Just like everybody else in the world. But last week, mate, the Zaki show into the Anano show, which we'll probably, we don't really have a minute to waste, but we're going to have a minute of silence for all the Animo backers, which is everyone. But what did you think of Zaki? Did it?
Yeah, he did what he had to do.
Yeah,
it wasn't sort of there to, he didn't need to win it by any further.
Yeah.
Like a Group 1 win's still a win, whether it's by 0.1 or by 2.5. So, he probably sort of had to get pushed along a little bit to get past 50 Stars, but I think 50 Stars was the same horse that he had to get past in the Hollindale. Same sort of situation, third up, last prep at 1800. So, that next start, that'll be the one, because he went 1800 into 2000 in the Doomben Cup and won by 7. So, $1.50 in the Caulfield Stakes could be good shopping at the moment.
I was going to say Caulfield Stakes and then Grand Final Day.
Yeah.
Well, we have it this weekend. We've got the Turnbull, which Very Elegant comes down to Melbourne, which is a big move. He obviously doesn't need the money, old Bray, so he's just saying, let's just run them all together.
That's right.
But I guess that's the form line. We'll get some answers this week on Very Elegant, Incentivise. Might go to the cost weight, more than likely not. But whether they're just the two form lines going to clash.
That's it. Yeah. It's going to be a ripper.
Oh, it's going to be a ripper.
Yep.
Well, when do you get the show on the road? What do you reckon?
Yeah.
Right. Well, Mugs, that's it. Before we get to Group 1 Fever, we got 9 winners at Doomben that we're going to find right now. All right? They may not win tomorrow because they're not racing tomorrow, but all Saturday. But we'll find them, and you can let us know. Race 1, 2-year-olds over the 1,000. So, mate, it's a field of about 15 here for the 2-year-olds. So this is going to be absolutely friggin' chaos, I'd imagine, because that 1,000-metre shoot at Doomben's, well, if you're not getting across, you're in a bit of a sticky situation. But it could be soft under deck. We've got a bit of rain forecast.
And soft 5 at the moment, and I think rain today and tomorrow. So I'll probably get to a 6 or a 7 at Doomben.
Well, that makes it vital to do your form for race 1 on for all these 2-year-old unraced fillies and colts. So, we've got Palazzo Spirit for O'Day Hoisted, which is your favourite there at $3.20. Muncie's got one there at $3.70, Prime for Victory. And the Mugs Trainer, Will Holbert, which has a little bit of a rap on Heroic Son of Heroic Vela, obviously. At $8, but look, it's a bag of mixed potential. You're seeing ones that are trialling well, don't do it on race day. You see ones that haven't come to the trial, come out and win by 10 lengths.
Yep.
It's a bit of a guessing game, mate, but what's the lead that you've got for race 1?
I mean, get a dartboard out and throw a dart
Beautiful.
at it. But
Come borrow it after you.
Yeah, exactly. I'm going to side with Heroic Son for Pete and Will.
Yep.
He ran the quickest trial of the morning on the 14th of September there and won pretty well. Mashani Mental ran 3rd in that trial, and I believe it went half all right at Toowoomba in the Paddock Show on Saturday. Might have run 4th.
It did. It was coming well. That was Moz's pick.
That was your
That's
pick,
why I
yeah.
remember the name. 4th as per usual. Nothing
But
different.
then, last start, 3 lengths behind Palazzo Spirit, the favourite, but wasn't asked to do as much, and I think they might have just tried to keep it a little bit quiet. So, Barry 10 might try and sit out, one back, or something like that, but probably won't be betting.
Well,
I probably will.
Let's not make be too silly here. I'm siding with the favourite on top, Palazzo Spirit. Same thing, sending some vibes out to Wilbur. We were hoping to have a special little segment, but he's too busy apparently. Did you get an interview with him? No, never mind. Far out, we'll pick up your game, mate. Palazzo Spirit, I've just noted it in its 2 trials that I've done the reviews on, which I'm sure everyone... They are, mate. The mugspunting.com.au mailing list is absolutely smitten with my trial reviews, but I've just made note of it both times. So look, 2-year-olds, if they're up and about, probably the hard thing's trying to keep them there to get to the races. And now that this thing's had 2 trials, it's obviously ready to go. First up, a lot of these might be a bit of a watch and see kind of run, but $3.20 in an unraced 2-year-old to start Doomben race 1's always the thrill that we love here at Mugs Punting. Mate, well, speaking of thrills, the Pines. I'm just going to leave it, the Pines, because it's your favourite there in race 2. Stretch out to the 1350. Mate, I know, look, the T-shirts are coming, but the one thing better than Brisbane form
is...
Well, you tell me. It's your catchphrase.
That's right.
So you got Brad and Fanar, which are down from your neck of the woods there, mate. Now, I know that, look, you don't play local favourites too much. You're a form astute analyst.
Yeah.
So you'll only put them on top if they deserve it. Does one of those 2 deserve it for you?
I thought Fanar would have been, but after it got being at $1.40 at your Poon last start.
Oh, what a place in the world, your Poon.
Yeah, I think 6 races on Tuesday. 4 favourites got up, and the 2 that I tipped on SEN were the 2 favourites that got beat.
No.
So
that was the 2 of my multi that didn't win either.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and Fanar was one of them a fortnight ago. But no, I'm with Rebel Salute for Brian and Daniel Guy. Jimmy Orman on board. He's had 13 starts, 4 wins, 7 seconds, and its wet track form is what really jumps off the page. Never missed the place on a soft and 2-time winner from 3 starts on a heavy. 3 runs this prep, run second twice, been beaten in a photo both times. So I dare say, and it won the other time by 2.5 lengths. So I dare say if it had have been coming into this off a hat trick, it'd be shorter than the $3.80 on offer. And if the rain comes like we expect it to, and it gets to a soft 7, I think it'll be the one that will relish the conditions. So Rebel Salute on top for me in second.
Lovely, mate. I'm just going to double down with you there. No, I've found him on top as well. I think you're right. The soft is the difference. I think we even maybe potted him one start a few weeks ago that it just could be a bit of a soft track galloper. Yeah. So, look, if he is, this is his opportunity to shine.
That's his race.
It's exactly right there, mate. So we're on par for race 2, which is handy because we're going to need it.
Yep.
Coming into race 3, 1,200 metres, mate. The good friends at Blank Racing BM72 Raiders in gear. Now, in gear, interesting runner. They scratched it from Toowoomba last week. It drew the Brisbane gate there, gate 45 out of 20, which is handy. Yeah. But Mr. TJ Golan knows how to get a winner. Likes the Doomben, doesn't go to Eagle Farm a fair bit, so he's probably, this is probably a more suitable plan B anyway. And you're getting $4 today for in gear, but I mean, there's a couple in this field, Platinum Euros, is it just it's one that just probably hasn't gotten to where we thought it could get to.
Yeah.
Maybe some injury concerns held that back, but Contemptuous as well is in that basket too, where we just think that this thing trials like a superstar, looks like the next big thing, and just comes out race day and doesn't put it together.
That's
so
right.
they're your big three in the market, mate.
Yeah, I'm with Contemptuous. I made him the best of the day actually here at Doomben on Saturday.
Juice.
So I think he's better than what people I suppose making out to be. Like he's had the 9 starts now for 4 wins and 4 minor placings, and the only start that he missed the placings was when he was injured and pulled up short. But beat Better Get Set by 2 lengths last start at Eagle Farm over the 1,000. Better Get Set came out and won yesterday at Ipswich, as tooted its full brother. That feels better. So I think that form's pretty good, and from barrier 9 with 57 on his back, I think he just gets to sit on Platinum Euros and in gear and can be too good for him.
Fantastic. Contemptuous. I'm jumping off, mate. Jumping off. And we don't have an in-seed segment this week unless the big dog's sending through some mail right now. But I'm jumping on Platinum Euros. It seems like it's almost put up or shut up time with this horse. They've probably looked after it a bit, keeping it to the sunny coast, picking the spots. If it's been on and off injury-wise, then it's a different story. But it's had, I think, the 3 trials coming into this race, and the soft stats is what sucks me in here. Because it's going to be a front-running horse in here, and I think Platinum Euros are the 2 that take up the lead. But this Doomben track hasn't been, I guess, the rail where it is in the last couple of weeks at the very least. So if they're getting in front and just could be favourable to be there, he's right in the mix. And if it's a soft, if not going on the heavy, we might have a Saturday dump. Doomben just gets that bog feeling, doesn't it, where they just sort of stick
really
like glue.
Yeah.
So, it's where I want to be, just purely in front at some point.
Yeah.
Or I'm going to be buying in gear, and in gear's going to win, and I'll pick the wrong favourite.
That's right. But it's probably going to be the best race of the day.
It's a cracker, isn't it,
just
mate?
with those 3, the $4 a piece, and
And they've all, that's what I mean, they've always sort of had that, what could this horse be in terms of competitive interstate or, we're not talking Group 1 racing, but when they're young and they win like these 3 did, you just sort of think this could be one to watch over the next few years. So,
100%.
Yeah, mate, I feel ya. Well, look, 3 races down at Doomben, mate. We might need to tickle the mugs' ears a little bit because they've got 4 Group 1s.
That's right.
Believe it or not, around at the grounds. So what we'll do is we'll save the main event to last because I think the Turnbull's the race that we're all looking forward to everywhere. But Sydney comes to show too with the 3 of them. And it's all, Epsom handicap, Metrop, the flight not so much, but I know the 2 big handicaps are absolute chaos, and it's great for betting because you're always going to get a price.
That's right.
Whether the price is the winner is another story, but we love eating value, man. Don't we?
You can't eat it.
We can't eat it. You can't eat it. So we might get, look, the Metrop in my eyes is probably not the most exciting of the Group 3s there in Sydney that I'm looking forward to, but we might get that out of the way and then pick it up because we've got a Queensland hope there in the Flight Stakes, which we're pretty excited to talk to. So, Metrop mugs, 2,400. We're probably in for a soft, maybe borderline heavy there in Sydney too, from what I'm hearing. So, are you looking lightweights, mate? Are you looking fish?
I'm looking value.
Eat it, mugs.
That's right. We've got a Derby winner in here actually from 2019 in Warning.
Oh, gee, no.
Yeah.
Hang on. We pause this.
Yeah, I know.
Continue.
Bad, I know.
I'll let you have your piece, mate.
It won't even be much peace really, but
No.
look, he doesn't win out of turn, which we know that well and good. But it was only 3 starts ago that he did win up here in the Sunshine State. And you've got to have some doubts backing him, but he won well that day. He really savaged the line, beat So You Win, who,
Savaged.
I know. Wow. Savage, but he did.
He did though.
He did.
Oh my goodness.
He did. He gets onto a soft track, which is what he won the Derby on. He gets out to 2,400 and he's drawn barrier 12. He's going to get back anyway. There's a bit of speed with Ladonda V. It's drawn the car park. Entente will go forward. Hush Rider will go forward. What else have you got there? Angel of Truth will be handy. Spirit Ridge goes forward. So, look, I'm not betting with confidence in the Metro because it's that sort of race, but I don't want to be taking $6 about Montefilia, who we don't know if she gets the 2,400 that we've seen a few times. I'd rather get $9.50, $10 a place about Warning, and just hope that he can
run a bolter.
He was good first up over 1,700 at Flemington. He ran 10th, but got beat 3 lengths, was last on the turn, and that was Floating Artist that won that. It's won 3 straight. So
well, it's flying, isn't it?
It is, yeah. It probably would have been $2 if it was here in the Metro, that horse. So
yep. And look, he could. I'm not going to double down on you, so don't get too excited. But a lot of these sort of horses, Derby winners, they could. That just could be them. That they don't run a drum below the 2,400, and really, there's not that many races for them available.
No.
And the ones that are available are your Group 1, Corporate Cups, Melbourne Cups.
That's right.
If you're not in them, you're not in them. So
exactly.
Or you're competing against the best in the world, mate.
That's right.
Well, I'm looking at the top weight here actually. Spirit Ridge on top for me, mate. And again, the value is just there to be had. $26 each way all day if you don't mind. But this is quite an interesting speed map because the speed's all drawn really wide. This fella can sneak through. He can sneak through. He doesn't mind taking up the lead. I don't think he'll lead. I think a few of the Waterhouse horses will just go. But he'll just sit handy enough to be able to make a bit of a sprint home. His form that I'm really liking through Harpo Max is the big one that he does get the weight swing. Even though he's the top weight, Harpo Max comes up to the 54, but in their clashes before, he's had to give him 6 or 7 kilos. So Harpo Max is one of those ones that's always around about as well.
He's got to be a chance as well.
Exactly. My only concern was just Harpo Max loves being last, swooping, finding traffic in a field of 24
with
20
Rachel
runs.
King from Barrier 5 as well as
it just could be in a tricky spot. And I think you'll find this is that race that you'll have 10 runners that are hard luck stories. And you'll just not even be close. So we'll move on quickly because we absolutely hate that kind of a run. Good Run Flight Stakes, mate. So when I say we've got a Queenslander in here, mate, we've sort of got 1.5 Queenslanders because before Bray, Hong Kong was stealing all our champion horses, and now Mr. Skolsky doesn't even have a Twitter, so we can't even spray him on his Twitter. No. But he's bought Hinged as well, which was very disappointing first up, purely because of the ride. 100% because of the ride. We don't mind bagging rides on here. No. But Startantes, mate, they're a bit in the red at the moment, the Heathcote Yard, because they've paid up twice to get into these races. So needs to win.
Yeah.
Does she win?
I think she can. I haven't got her on top. I've got her in for second just solely because I'm shopping a bit of value again. But she was really good in the Golden Rose last weekend. I think she had the 3rd best last 200 of the race, and the 2 that ran quicker than her were Artorias and Animo, who were both Group 1 winning colts. So that's a big push. She goes from 1,400 up to 1,600, which is going to be upper early by the looks of it off that last run. But one horse that I think will eat up the 1,600 metres even more is the same jockey trainer combo as your top pick in the Metro, mate, Von Trapp, 3-year-old filly by Frankel. She's had 3 starts. She went 12.50 first up to the 1,300 at Hawkesbury where she won, and then ran 4th in the T-Rose, which is kind of the main lead-up, I guess, for the fillies, 1,400 metres, and she was last on the turn that day. Josh Parr was on and sort of punched up the fence and just found no luck in running the entire way in the straight. Got out with 175 to go. Ran the best last 200 of the race. Smashed home into 4th. So I think she's the one up to the mile that's get the job done. $23. I'm very keen.
Very keen.
Very keen.
4th career start too.
Yeah,
so,
well, that's it.
She's doing it now.
She's either a superstar or she's had one run too many this prep now, and she'll be a better order than 3-year-old filly.
Yep, 100%, mate. 100%. We mentioned the ex-Queenslanders, mate. I think Hinged is a sneaky chance here, and same thing, getting odds. I think Mr. Waller would have sat down with Glenn Boss after last start and said, this horse has won as many races as he's won because he's got to the front, not given up the front, which is what happened last start. So I think from the barrier, it does have the chance to lead, and hopefully we can see sort of that Queensland form that we have seen. And look, conditions get worse, it's probably going to suit him even more.
Yeah,
so,
that's right. She'll be thereabouts.
You know, Startantes, I just think too far back. I just don't like backing horses where you know they're going to be. Randwick's a bit more forgiving than Rosehill, but you know,
especially after Rosehill last week, geez.
But it's always, I mean, a horse like Startantes, just regardless of the horse, this is Golden Rose was a bit of an afterthought. This is obviously a bit of an afterthought because it would have been silly not to try and pursue this race.
That's right.
But if she's ran a grand final, is she tapering off, or she just comes out and wins? So
I think that Dan O'Sullivan that does the ratings, the ratings bureau, he had her as the second best rating of any 3-year-old filly this season so far.
Wow.
And the top filly was Zuzarella, who is the 1,000 Skinny's favourite, and obviously not here. So that's a you know, if she can run up to that Golden Rose run on those ratings, she's right in it.
Yep. Moving on, mate. Back to God's country. Back to Doomben. And we get to race 4, and I'll tell you what, Mugs, we've got an absolute cracker. We've got the BM, whatever it is, 2,030 metre. They even had to just mix things up for some of these horses. Chris Waller is obviously usually very well represented in this race. He's got one up here for Jimmy Byrne Irish Sequel, which just looks to be the Humboldt Kona of this season. This thing will be up here for 44 starts in a row, racing every week, which is going to be very exciting for all of us up here. But again, you've got a horse like Milkman, who last start pushed the top form line in Queensland. Probably didn't push it, but was probably the eye catcher, you know, behind London Bankers. So, 2,000 metres, mate. You're a specialist at this trip.
Yeah, it's my pet trip, really, isn't it?
Pets.
Yeah. No, I struggled here, but I thought the one right down the bottom, Riot Act, I thought he was the one at $13. It might have just been over the odds, to be honest. He really put him to the sword in 2 wins at the Gold Coast, won by 4 lengths, and I think it might have been 4 lengths both times. So beat Luna Snit, who we all know how good she's going. I think 3 seconds in a row. I might have run 4th in the Toowoomba Cup on Saturday. So
might have wasn't first. Put it that way.
That's right. But like that form's not too bad.
Stacks.
Yeah, he ran 4th behind Tides of Jupiter and Southern Rock as an odds-on favourite 2 starts ago, but only got beat 0.4. And then went to Lismore and ran 3rd in the Lismore Cup down there. So, look.
Upside,
yeah. Drops to 54, Robbie Frad, barrier 8, $13. It's just a sort of race where I don't want to be backing anything, but if I've got to, pick one, I'm not going to take $4 about as well, even though it's probably the one to beat.
Yeah, well, and mate, we've got to pick one. That's the idea of the show, isn't it? Like, fortunately, we can't take any passes. You just don't turn up for work. Doesn't turn up for work. Mate, I've got the other infiltrating training camp of Queensland on top here with the Chris Lees yard. Spanish Point. Montez is not a bad form line. Before that was run into Champagne Auntie. Just sort of probably being kept in the grade, and this is a bit of a step up to, it's being 80, it's an 80 rater. Right axe right down there in the handicap scale, which is probably my roughy concern as well. $6, in a field that you just don't want to dig the teeth into too much, but we're Mugs.
It was good late last time as well.
Yeah,
over the 1,800 and up to the 2,000.
And I like seeing that, like horses that are coming up from the mile to the 2,000, you could just catch them one run short and they need that run. Whereas, a horse like that's been up, it's been fit, it's been running, it's been winning as well. We don't get a lot of that in these races. You get a lot of 7th and 8ths that you're trying to piece together for the form. And then somehow we come up with a selection on top that doesn't necessarily mean a thing. Race number 5, mate. And look, that form line comes to the table again here. First son, our man, Wiggo, for Mr. Taylor up there at the old Rocky side of the woods. Isn't he a Rocky based trainer?
No, Sunny Coast.
He's based at Sunny Coast.
On course.
Garnet, okay. Just loves his runners up north.
Runners up there.
Must have a good little ownership up there. Wow, that's it, mate. He just picks the form. Simple as that. But the one to beat is the greatest, almost cat of all time. He's getting dangerously close to that territory. The illustrious Bondi winner, which I think is where Startantes might actually end up too. Right. Little memo from the Mugs. But Kubrick just keeps running well. And look, it's on a quick backup. So, I mean, the horse is obviously, it's not going as well as it ever has, but it hasn't really gone as well as it ever has it? It's always there.
Benchmark, you know, like
you just know what's going to happen here, though. It's a Doomben backmarking horse. It's going to have everything just work out. Maybe the soft ground is what's going to slow a few of those front runners up. That finally, not me, but some mug out there listening or watching who really should be in an asylum right now might get the scalp on Kubrick as a $3 favourite too, mind you. You're not getting the $15 for Kubrick this week.
No. I put a tweet out during the week saying it might be the best placed horse in the country on Saturday.
Goodness.
But I mean, it's that sort of horse that I can't bring myself to tipping it. But if it's going to win a race, it's this. You know, I got beat a lip in a class 6 7 days ago. This is a class 3, and it's in with 59 kilos. Like it's placed very well, I think. Jim Byrne goes on, which is a big push. But, you know, what do you do with him?
3 wins from 26 starts.
Yeah.
Nearly $1 million in the bank.
You'd love to own him.
Love to own him. You'd love to just beat him. Imagine you rocking up to your job and just giving absolutely bare minimum effort of your potential. You get paid $1 million just for being there, mate. That's Kubrick. We could all be a bit more like Kubrick in our life, you know. Yeah. Just do what we need to do to tick along.
That's right. In saying that, I'm going to go down the bottom again. Palaszczuk, second to Sienna's Choice last start. She's won 3 straight. That horse, which is pretty handy form. Start before that, ran 3rd at Eagle Farm, undeniable. Won that. It won at Gosford or Wyon last week. Back down there, so the form's stacking up. The Gov Junior on board takes 3 off. I don't know if he can make 52.5, but he'd have to be getting close, I reckon. He'd get 52. So
beautiful.
Yeah, so
bit of a swing on the old Kubrick then, isn't it?
It is, yeah. But look, if I'm going to get beaten one, it's going to be Kubrick, isn't it?
Let's hope not. Well, look, and you know where Palaszczuk is going to be in their own, don't you? We're talking polar opposites here. Palaszczuk on the bunny, no weight on the back. Going to be very, very, very hard to run down, and that's exactly what has led me to jump on board with you, mate.
Beautiful.
And just a bit of a good vibes omen bet that another namesake Palaszczuk just keeps the Zippo zipped, and we just get along with the grand final on Sunday, and life is normal next week.
Yep.
No little imminent lockdowns for no reason, right?
No.
Fingers crossed, because we want to get to the track, mate. It's coming to Spring Carnival. Brisbane Racing Club's putting on some mega days out there, so of course we're going to be out there, mate.
Absolutely.
Of course we're going to be out there. Now look, we're going to get stuck into the quaddie, mate, because in race 6, mugs that subscribe to us on YouTube and watch us religiously every week, you'll see that I'm striking pretty well today. I'm wearing my business attire, and that's because the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Strike Rate himself, Micky Costa, said, boys, I need to dress you to the nines. So I'm going to send you my shirts, because any other shirts that you guys wear are absolute doghouse.
Exactly.
And unfortunately, they're our own shirts. So thanks for the compliment there, Micky C. But great bloke, obviously knows what he's doing. Supergiant is in here. So Supergiant Group 3 winner from a couple of years back, if not just last year, racing its flies here, mate. 6 to the mile though, $7. The Costa Yard, they've got a few kills at the Gold Coast, so mugs if you're listening, and we'll give you a bit of that form on the side. I think the Ritz is back, and another good one, the name escapes me, but they'll be pretty short.
Yep.
Pretty short. Do you multi in a Supergiant, mate, or are you going to sniff a bit of Golan factor with Maloney with Run for Glory? It's $5 a field, this field. Over the mile, you got, again, 12 runners, so it's peak Brisbane racing.
Yeah, I struggled here again. It's one of those days where I really just have absolutely zero of a clue, to be completely honest.
Tell me.
You know there's a few ways you can go about it. Supergiant was good first up, I thought, but I probably wanted to see him out beyond a mile, 3rd up now. After 2 1350 metre runs, I thought we probably would have seen him at a mile last start and out to 1800 or 2000 by now. But I'm not doubting Mr. Costa, his ability to train, because quite frankly I probably wouldn't know a horse if I looked at it, you know.
Yeah, it's true. I have to point it out, someone with 4 legs sometimes. Just to interrupt there too, zip from 3 on the soft there, Supergiant too.
Thank you.
So we've done a great job.
Yeah.
for the Costa yard here, haven't we? But log on to the website and buy a shirt or get some
Get
cards.
some merch.
You know,
Yeah. That's right. I'll side with the toppy. Run for glory.
run for glory.
I think the gear change here has killed her off Lloydy Moz.
Yeah. She's not coming on next week for an interview now, is she?
She's not.
Shame.
You know, I don't know how I got beat last time.
Oh.
It should have just been a certainty. Second to Ballistic Boy, 2 back, and then whatever the ride was, you know, I could have legged Bean up on it last time. I would have got a better run in transit.
$3.60 favourite. It was, I think, last race of the day, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was the get out.
the get out, and we were
Like if you're gonna butcher one, make it the first, you know,
exactly.
like not
so
the
we can
last.
jump off you from the get go.
Yeah.
Well, that's your case. I'll take it. Look, you're right. This was a real tough race. I did have Supergiant on top until I was a little bit concerned about what the weather might come. So I think if the rain holds off and it's a good, because this horse is flying when he's just picking the lids and leading, and he'll probably get the chance to do it in this field. That was what I thought. But I've got Couldn't Refuse on top.
Yeah.
14s, and it's the opposite. It just grows a leg in the soft.
Yeah.
Goes pretty well here at Doomben as well. Loves track and distance, yet to miss the place, the track and distance. And 4-star, she's generally fine most of the time there anyway. But this, I remember the horse was a bit of an ATM a couple of preps ago.
Yeah.
So third up today, sit midfield, should have a pretty good run in transit. Could shake some feathers there coming into the placings.
Tough race.
Tough race. Well, look, I can't promise you that it gets any better in race 7 because we've got a few, our world famous Beans Get in the Sea segment. There's a few horses that, if they're not in there already, well, Ditmas is already in there, so we're not going to jump on Ditmas, but there's a few that definitely deserve, if not are very close to getting in there. Bob Lee's definitely one at the top of the list there, man. Calic as well. Yeah, Full Nelson he hates just because he jumped off at that time. Plenty has cost me plenty of times. Georgie's Pride is first up. Now that's the glimmer of hope in this race that we've got some potential, but there's another one down at the bottom of the list there, the Face.
Yes.
Barrier 15, it comes up from the Sydney side of town. I always thought it's a pretty smart little horse, but seems to be something going up between the ears with that horse because he's a bit of a
nutcase, isn't he?
Yeah, that's
he knows how to lose a race when he should.
He does, and that was first up, fourth, you know, doing everything wrong. Put it that way. So do you trust a horse that on ability Face is probably your winner, but does that ability rock up to the track and you can go, today's the day he's going to put it together, and at $3.50 thanks to our good mates at Sportsbet is what I'm going to give you to do it.
I think he's, if he had drawn low, he'd nearly be a special. I think he's still good enough to get the job done. Georgie's Pride, she's obviously the one that he's got to beat, but she's an Eagle Farm horse, not so much Doomben. So for that reason, siding with the Face, I think he'll, that form last start behind Triple Ace, like that sort of good Queensland sprinting form. Blondo ran second to that, still haven't quite got over it, but up to what's he go? He goes to the 1200 now, which it's got to bring him on, and second up, you'd imagine he'll be better for the run. So for a horse that's rarely out of the placings, I think he's the one that can get the job done. Yeah,
no, I'm with you there, mate. He's a 4-year-old now. I think when they're young and show ability, they're thrown in the deep end with those Group 2, Group 3s, which is what he's been hovering around at. So this is probably his prep to find him in the right grades, pick up some prize money, and start to see him become a real good racehorse.
That's right. You know, second to Peltzer, second to Forbidden Love.
Oh, screams.
I mean, 10th there, but 5.5 lengths behind Wild Ruler and Isotope.
Wow.
You know, like that's, Georgie's Pride again. She's the only one that's probably could get close to Isotope out of this Queensland crop. But that form's too good for here.
Just begs the question, mate. How far does Isotope win the Moore Stakes by last week?
Well, how far does she win? Whatever she goes to,
Too far. All right, mate. Look, we're nearly there. Race 8, and then we'll get stuck into a couple more Group 1s before we get out to the States. So very analytical on today's show here, mums, because we're back at Brisbane. We need some winners. We need a bit of a wrap-up coming into the Spring Carnival. Yep. Otherwise, our ratings just will plummet. So they probably actually go up because people just watch to laugh at us. Just watch it, I think, for 30 seconds. I think that's what gets a view count.
Yeah.
But, mate, when we talk about Brisbane racing, it's the place where horses revive careers. Now, we can go through the list, but we don't need to because we don't have enough time on the show. But there's one here that is dead set in that category that just of a what could have been a career kind of horse, and that's Space Boy. Knows how to do nothing but lead furiously, costs himself every race because that's exactly what he does. But he gets barrier 1 here, Steph Thornton on board, Patali's bringing him up, and obviously an absolute desperation for a win kind of mentality. This horse is more travelled than you and I, mate, combined.
Yes.
Melbourne 1 week, Sydney the next, probably in Darwin next week, but doesn't work out here. $3.70 is what you're getting for Space Boy, but I know there's some heart in this race as well. The King is back for another throw at the stumps when it's not really a throw at the stumps because you know he's almost the toughest horse in Queensland.
That's right. You know what you're going to get with him.
Yeah.
That's it. And the market's sort of slowly starting to cotton on. You know, like he started $2.50 favourite 2 starts back, but that was at the Sunshine Coast on a Sunday, and you know, but his metro races, he was $10 when he won, and last start he was $11. Admittedly, he got beat, but that was by the move. He was $1.80. Yeah. And he sat on the speed battle. Sugar Boom, he came last. It was up on the speed, and the move just had to sit on him. So I know barrier 11's a query, and the speed in it, you've got Space Boy, Tavasan, La Palmiere, Rock Beat will probably be handy.
Even the Odyssey can
go forward. Intrepidatious can go forward. So it could be the sort of race where you need something to be at the back and stalking, like Tambo's mate, who's on the backup as well. But I think King Klaus, he's the one that wide barrier, he might just avoid the speed battle and sort of settle 4th or 5th and be too strong late. So I'm with him again. $6.
The King.
He's not $10 this week, but I'm still happy to take 6, I think.
Oh, mate, you're right. I found this race very, very difficult. What do we do with Tambo's, mate?
Well, he's probably, like, rating wise, he's probably the best horse in the race, isn't he?
Yeah.
You know, but the 1,050, I thought he was always going to be a sort of Stradbroke horse myself, but now with TJ, 3rd run for the stable, and he was good behind Apache Chase in the week. Listed back to what are we open? Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm going with because I just can't jump off this thing because I know but even still, you know, you're right, a length off the Wheatwood winner, which you know Apache Chase would probably be star favourite in this field,
for sure.
Just of its jump and run and lead capabilities, but Space Boy you just can't trust. I mean, Space Boy could potentially steal this. There's a lot of pace. You know, jockeys sort of second guess themselves with fast horses against fast horses to sit back and not burn out. But if they go for it, that sprint is what we want to see. 1 from 1 in the soft. So if it's soft, it may benefit. Who knows? Hasn't raced enough to really know. Yeah, really hasn't. But same thing, mate. I'm just looking outside the $3.50 with Space Boy because we all know how that ends.
The Odyssey was really good first up. The move, he hit really hard than anything over 900.
Yeah,
so
just can't back them all.
Well, that's right.
Should, but
he should. Yeah,
probably should. And the Odyssey's one that just keeps winning. It feels like it's like it just probably doesn't get on the top line superstar whenever I'm going to go around kind of horse. Keeps pulling our pants down.
That's right.
Oh. All right. Let's pick it back up, mate, because Tambo's mate could have potentially been a Group 1 winner. Could have won the straight road.
Could have. I wish it did.
It'd be good to know if you just had a horse in it, to be honest. But we're going down south again. We'll get the Epsom, then we'll move on to the Turnbull. The clash of the Titans, mate. The superstars, the megastars. But Epsom Fever, again, 1,600 metres, one of the best, if not the best, mile races probably in the country. Handicap conditions, apart from the All-Star Mile, of course. We love that. We love that. And the JJ Atkins, of course. Pinnacle.
That's right.
But it's going to be a soft, it's going to be a heavy. Mwanga comes to town. It is the Group 1 form coming into this kind of a race. When we're talking weights, so it gets in with 57, and you've got 50 kilos down the other end of the scale. So that's the thing. How do you analyse this, Lloyd? We'll get a bit of insight. Do you look at, the handicap's obviously in place to bring this field to even? The horses just getting better that you know have snuck through the cracks, or is a horse like Mwanga just that much better than the rest of this field? Weight shouldn't really matter.
He's the best horse in the race. He's got a 112 rating there, so a deserved top weight. But I think he's been shafted with 57 coming out of, he's not even four. Like, he's a 4-year-old on paper, but his actual birthday is I think 20th of November, so he's kind of a late.
It's not Zaki's birthday, is it, mate?
It's not. No, 15th of Feb. But what was I saying?
Mwanga's chances.
Chances, yeah. So like coming out of 2 weight for age races, so he goes up to the 57, which is a bit of a concern for me. So I've left him out of the top 4, but a horse that drops 6.5 kilos off his last run is Aaaaand for Mr. Waller. Alicia Collett, she's on board. She's second in the New South Wales Premiership at the moment.
Wow,
J-Mac, of course, on top. 8 wins clear. But still, Alicia, she's there second. She's a Group 1 winning jockey in New Zealand, and she hasn't won one over here. But her brother, Jason, has been on Aaaaand in his first 2 runs. He obviously couldn't make the weight with the 51.5, but I've really liked what this bloke's done in his 2 runs so far. Second to Zaki, first up, which is the best form in Australia. Yeah. And then third behind a Tissue, where it was that day at Randwick where he kind of didn't want to be too far wide, and they didn't go overly quick in front, and he got home. I think it was the quickest, last furlong again. So Aaaaand, I actually got him as the best of the day in Sydney on Saturday at $12. So Barry 5, it'll just be that little bit closer than what we've seen, and I think it gives Waller his 5th Epsom.
Beautiful. Yeah, I think Waller gets the 5th Epsom too, mate. But
Pocket talking?
Yeah, pocket talking. It shouldn't really be talking because, I'm on a Tissue.
Yep.
I gave the spoiler a few weeks ago that I thought it was a horse to follow into the Epsom. The run's probably going to suit it. Barrier 11, where it's going to be back with the Mwangas, so it's probably a bit more luck in running. But I was lucky enough, I should say. Smart enough, I shouldn't say, to jag a bit of the $13 on offer before the race it was that got him into the Epsom. From there, he's gone down to $18 each way here. So definitely right in the value, as they say.
Right.
Called the bank and said, "Hey, I'm sleeping on value tonight. Don't need that second mortgage to fund my hobby on the weekend." But yeah, Tissue, I liked him regardless of the odds that have come up in that little story. So I think another one though, Star of the Seas can run a box.
Oh, you can't.
But it's just a wet tracker. Yeah. And that's what's going to get. It's one of those, it's a filthy horse if you're a Star of the Seas fan and you backed it every start. But $34, you can't not put it in your exotics if you're playing it. Because
I could. I reckon Harmony Rose is the one at big odds as well. She's drawn awfully, barrier 16, but 50.5 if she jumps well. Yeah. And she's going to be in that speed battle. All the speed's out wide, but she might just be the one that can actually take a sit. This is kind of her race, so she's going to win one with 50.5. But Skylab, it's another one that was good in the Cameron. You can make a case for Ice Bath on a wet track.
Riadini. Well, we've only got 3 horses to comment on, and we've picked the field.
Yeah.
So what do you reckon? Riadini's the leader. From barrier 16. That's probably what's cost.
Does it get any piece though? Like when you've got
Harmony
Rose and Ashman, the Cameron winner. It's 100 to 1 from barrier 17. Like it only knows one way. Yeah. It'll lead.
But that's sort of the mentality. If you something in this race 50 kilos, you want to go and let them catch you.
Not be last.
Exactly. So if you're last, you're trying to outsprint Mwanga, who's a dual Group 1 winner.
Exactly. Yep.
Okay, we need to get on because mate, we will pick the field. And there's a battle down south. Victoria probably gets the spotlight this weekend. Just like every other weekend for the wrong reasons. Thankfully, they haven't changed any whip rules leading into this race, so that's always handy because they love to do that. You've got the Turnbull, and the big question all week was, does Very Elegant go down to challenge Incentivise? So we get the battle. Yep. But again, Melbourne's looking like it's going to be heavy. There's rain everywhere in Melbourne, so the Incentivise question is the soft and the heavy track because I just don't think he's had the chance to run in it. So it's a bit of an unknown.
3 from 3 on a soft.
A soft, but is it?
That's
how do you
a
rate
Queensland soft.
Exactly. Very Elegant's going to be in his zone. This brings Colette into the picture though a little bit. Brings the Dragonate into the picture a lot as well. And there's a few others that in a heavy you could even make a sneaky chance for potentially the placings. I mean, Mount Popper has a pretty good wet track stats. Young Werther does as well. So the battle of Incentivise versus the rest, I think it's evened out a little bit.
Yep, massively. The what's the out to now? 280. So
about $3 a piece. I think Very Elegant's a favourite right now.
230 favourite she is. But look, winning form's good form, and Incentivise, what's he won? 6 straight now? 6 or 7? I'm with the Queenslander. It's hard to really bet against Very Elegant. You're not going to be, if you're going to have 500 on Incentivise before Very Elegant decided to come here, you only have 200 on now kind of thing. But I still think from what he got, Barry's 6, he'll be probably leading again, and out to the 2,000 metres is only going to be better for him. So I think Incentivise can cause an upset.
Yeah, I'm with you too, mate. Queensland form is the form.
That's right.
But even on a scale, if it's a heavy, this 2,000's all of a sudden 2,500 metre race. It's still a long way off the Melbourne Cup. So that's the goal. You need to get, at second up, needs to get the runs into the legs. So I think they'll be pushing Incentivise to go along, whereas you've got Very Elegant probably needs to keep something in the tank, although we're talking Group 1s, but Cox Plate's the goal. That's the one he wants to win. If Very Elegant is too far back and has to absolutely work home, is that the gut buster that they didn't want? Incentivise, bounces off that, prime for a Caulfield Cup. So I think the timing's just on the side of Incentivise here, and we're looking good at the $3, mate. Again, I think you're getting $3.50 right now. So
no, 280, I think. Well,
280,
depending if you shop around, maybe. But
well, our big smarts was that Very Elegant wasn't going to go, so we would have been all in on the all-ins. But that's why our friends at Sportsbet love us so much, mate.
I suppose that leads us to a big question that we haven't really touched on yet, but we got Racing Supercoach kick off this weekend.
We
mate.
do.
So obviously, mugs out there. You can get on the website. You can buy a slot, I guess, a bit like the Everest. You can buy a slot in the cash competition on the mugspunting.com.au. But otherwise, we've got free leagues out there. But who's your captain for Supercoach this week? Do you side with? I suppose the way I looked at it was you've got Incentivise, Very Elegant, probably your Quinella in the Group 1. I think it's 40 points for a win in the Group 1, 32 for second. So worst case, you get 64 points for running second if you side with one of those two. Or do you look at another Group 1 or a Group 2 even with Think It Over in the Hill Stakes, the Group 2 where it's $1.90, 32 points for a win. So you're going to get, you're almost guaranteed a win there with him if you like the odds-on quote, and you get your 32 times 2, or do you hope that you can either win or worst case run second in the Group 1?
Well, and you also look at, it's the first round, so it's all helpful leather, but
that's right.
I think Incentivise is quite cheap. As well, and Very Elegant's going to be in most people's teams. Do you try and, if those two don't run up to standard, everyone's got them in their team. Do you bank on having your captain as something like a Think It Over? To get a little bit of an early jump.
Or do you just play it smart and go someone like even in the gym crack, you got the Cool and Gatta, the 2-year-old filly having the first start Group 3, but off her trial, she was super. That just mugs out there that haven't played before. There's a few different edges to sort of look at here.
100% mugs. So look, pretty much you've got up until Saturday to get yourselves in. So I think the lockout starts Saturday. So it's not our rules, it's the Herald Sun Supercoach rules. But $25, winner take all pot, or we're going to have a free comp that anyone can have a play with, and our good friends at Sportsbet are happy to be powering this because we're not allowed to say stuff anymore thanks to governments. So if you go to a calculator and put 2 and 2 together, maybe you'll get 4.
Hopefully.
My calculators don't work.
No.
I know how to work a map though, mate. And from Group 1 town in Melbourne, we're going straight back up. And we're going back to Brisbane Vegas because there's a get-out stakes that we need to absolutely fly through, mate. Now, it's a shame Ben's not here because he absolutely loves this girl Ruby in the last. And we've got a notable gear change.
Killing her off.
Killing her off, Melian on. And he's been flying Andy Mellion. I mean, I think he gets looked after a bit with Chris Lees, so we won't get too excited. But it's a good old-fashioned get-out stakes, mate. And speaking of the killer, Oriental Princess she sticks with, so that could be a bit of a lead for that horse too, who saluted at the huge odds, but slightly raced as well. So it just could have been a we missed it kind of job there too. Snuck up the rail. Enterprise Pom is your favourite, which I believe was scratched from Toowoomba last week, maybe, or maybe midweek.
She's been in Sydney.
Has she?
She has.
Maybe that's where I saw the name. Well, that's not a bad.
Might have been a nom in the Flight Stakes or the T-Rose, the one before. Yeah.
There you go. Well, $3. If that was the potential, $3 is stealing, isn't it?
Well, yes, but you've got Randwick form up against Rockhampton.
Oh, silly question.
Silly question, mate. A hooshu. You got a tissue into a hooshu.
That's not a bad little
play there. But look, this bloke, he's very good. Like second to Sweet Dolly in the Cutest Jewel. That was probably the top form. Third to Startantes, Military Gambler. Then at Doomben, went up to Mackay back home and beat Fire King, who goes pretty good up that way by 2.5 lengths, and then only won by 0.8 at its next start at Rocky. Beat Blue Jacket, but Blue Jacket it came out and won on Tuesday at Yeppoon, and also they put 8 lengths on the third horse that day, and he's been back to Townsville since and won pretty convincingly again. So I just think a hooshu might just be very hard to catch here.
Yeah, mate, I'm jumping on Bean's get-offs, which is Glorious Ruby for me. Going around, by the way, Moses, you're not missing out on it much. Startantes, you mentioned it there. Startantes is the form line here, and that's why Glorious Ruby's run into. Probably a case of not necessarily not run up to potential. It's just run into a couple of horses that all of a sudden seem pretty damn good.
Well, that's it.
So at $9.50, not a bad little price. So fingers crossed she does come back and we get something. Lloydy, the lock, leave it with us.
Race 3, horse 3, Contemptuous. He's won his last start. He's got the best form around. We own a smart one. I think he can win again.
Moz's must have, mate. Rebel Salute. I thought race number 2. Just the wet conditions might just make it even juicier. Yeah. Have you gotten around the grounds for us, mate?
Yeah, outside of Arameo, who I think is a terrific bet, we're going to Flemington early in the day. Race 2, horse 7, Hatotsu. Horse I've got a bit of time for. Ran 7th in the Blue Diamond Prelude that day, and then 10th in the Blue Diamond itself. Then went to Flemington into the VRC size. It was ran 6th, but ran home really well. Lightsaber, Safe, they were the two that won that race and ran for 2nd. He's been to Donald for an easy kill. It was $1.24 that day. He got the job done. That's right. Got it out of the way over $13.50. Gets out to $1,800 onto Flemington. That is going to be his go. And I've got the futures tickets at 100 to 1 in the Guineas, but that's 7 days away, and he'd be going 1,800 back to 1,600. So I think I don't know if they'll do it. So I think the Derby's the race for him. But yeah, $4.80 for those playing at home. I think
maybe we can try and get Sportsbet to edit the bet slips for us, mate. Change that Guineas into a Derby ticket. That'd be pretty handy, wouldn't it? Well, I'll be down with you at Flemington. Now it's going to be wet. There's a horse Splintex, mate. Grows a leg in the wet and seemed to have grown a leg at Flemington, full stop.
That's the straight.
There is a classic horse in this race called Kementari, which we'll save it for another time because we're coming up to about 50 minutes now anyway. But I think they might have just found what the go is with this horse. He's always been a good horse, but he's always run into Nate Strip, G-Trar, whoever. Top liners, probably just that cut above. Finds himself in a good grade here now to put the score on the board.
Lovely.
That's it, Mugs. Look, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Join the Supercoach League. Good luck on a cracker weekend. And it's grand final Sunday, mate. Didn't really want to talk to it too much because we don't care anymore, but that's okay.
Melbourne are gone, so.
Just means you can have a sleep in Monday. That's what we need.
Exactly.
Thanks, Mugs.